Howdy Neighbors, and welcome back to Crimson Gray. Last time, my girlfriend kidnapped me. Took us to her house. She was like, "Ooh, it's gonna be fun," and then it's not. She went to our house to pick up our books so that we wouldn't fall behind on classwork. Very nice of her. Now we're considering our options to get the hell out of here. We can make something for Lizzie. Let's do that. Deciding his best bet was to try to encourage Lizzie's good nature, John set to working with the kitchen supplies she'd left nearby him. His options without a stove were limited, but he did his best to make her something that looked like real effort had been put into it. He was no chef, but he thought that she would like anything he'd made with his own hands. So eventually, the act of making something for her helped him forget about the fact that he was chained in her basement. The situation might be messed up, but perhaps there was a core of something salvageable. When Lizzie saw his gift, she blushed and took it away hurriedly. John blinked, but didn't have time to object. Next time he saw her, though, she was beaming. Though John spent all of Saturday tense, Lizzie showed no signs of intending to hurt him. That night, she brought a mattress and bedding down to the basement and set it up close enough so he can lie down on it. When he woke up on Sunday, he felt strangely normal, a little tense. The situation was far from ordinary, but in a strange way, he had learned to deal with it. That day passed almost normally. Since Lizzie had brought him his books, he tried to work through his homework, just as he often did on a Sunday. Lizzie stayed with him most of the day, working as well. She made meals for them both in the basement and upstairs, but she always stayed close. He hoped for a chance to evaluate his options more, but never spotted one since she was always leaning in to smile at him from the stairwell. Me. The only useful thing he learned was that the basement door was apparently unlocked except for at night. If he could somehow get unchained from the table, he had a shot at getting out. When Monday dawned, he crashed almost immediately. Didn't even get out of bed. It was common for vacation for him when he didn't have any friends to distract him, since all he could do was wallow in himself. It felt worse than usual. His world wasn't just gray. His depression was filled with flux of anger and confusion. More then did he realize that he hadn't taken any medication since Friday morning. As he entered that morning, she immediately saw how badly he was doing and rushed over to the mattress, first fussing with the sheets before realizing the problem went deeper than that. John, what's wrong? Then you're keeping me here? No, I'm sorry, no. If I let you go, you'll just hate me. It'll ruin everything. Liz, can you bring me my Paxatine? It's on the shelf above the sink to the... No. No, I won't bring it to you. I can't. I destroyed it. What? But I need that. You don't understand how serious my condition is, right? I know, I really do. But you shouldn't take their drugs, not theirs. But... You were taking something before Paxatine, right? Tell me what it was. I'll go get some for you. I want you to get better, John. But I won't let you take anything from Koitek. Oh, that face. She is not letting us take anything from Koitek. We should get better. Thinking back, John tried to remember medications that seemed to be some good. Maybe they weren't as good as Paxatine, but they would be better than nothing. Okay, just wait right there. Apparently, just remembering all the chemical names he had listed, Lizzie hopped up the stairs and practically slammed the door in a hurry on the way out. Abruptly alone, John realized he had another chance to act. Since the previous dish he had made had gone over so well, when Lizzie left, John set out to make something else. Given his limitations, though, it was hard to not repeat himself. This one made Lizzie smile, but he thought he also saw something in her eyes. When she took the food, he thought he heard her whispering something about how romantic he was being. Eventually, Lizzie returned, bearing a large white sack. She triumphantly emptied it out on the table, emptying an entire pile of bills in front of him. He said, "You want a bill? Here you go." She'd gotten every drug he mentioned, even the prescription ones. He had to think about about the nasty consequences if she tried to give him all of them at once. But instead, Lizzie just brought him a glass of water and set it down beside the pile. Take anything you need to get better, okay? I'll just leave these here, but you can ask for more water whenever you want. Thank you. Of course, John. I'm doing all of this because I want you to get better. He felt like telling her that being held against his will won't help, but her expression looked so sincere that he couldn't bring himself to say it. How had she gotten prescription medications anyway? He found the one that had most oh my god. He found the one that he had been most satisfied with just before Miss Smith switched him to Paxitine. Took his first dose. Lizzie smiled brilliantly, then skipped back up the stairs. After lunch on Tuesday, Lizzie started crying. I thought I said crying, and I was like, what? Lizzie started carrying electronics down the stairs. He blinked in confusion until she brought down a TV and started hooking everything together. Or at least attempted to. After a moment, she sighed and looked at him sheepishly. Do you know how this works? Try to get it figured out. He got up and did his best to help. She had a pretty nice VCR, leading him to wonder why she had it and didn't know how to put it together. It wasn't like someone else had been... Oh, not like someone else would have bought it for her. She bought it for you, fool. You not use this much? Never. I don't really watch television. Like at all? No. She seemed really apathetic to a lot of things, but he thought she just wasn't into pop culture. Yet now, something in her voice made him suspect that there was something else entirely. What about music then? I don't listen to music. Huh? Really? Well, what about books? Only non-fiction that seems useful. The rest all feels so pointless. What do you do for fun then? She stared back at him so long he was afraid that she might just ignore the question. Well, sorry I asked. I do enjoy a few things now, thanks to you. Dots. I spent a lot of time collecting all those knives because I thought they would be useful. But now it's a little different. Now I can imagine myself protecting you. All the details about grips, edges. They're not just details now. They interest me. I'm real glad we helped you with that. So you're not interested in knives. Fantastic. Anyway, I thought maybe I could enjoy a movie if I watched it with you. Is that okay? We might as well try. I've had it all put together for a while anyway. We could try it. Lizzie brought a chair and sat beside him as they watched the tape. He was grateful that she at least watched the movie instead of him. It was nothing at all like how watching a film with a girl was supposed to be like, according to his friends. Lizzie didn't seem remotely nervous during the scary parts. He was surprised, didn't seem to care about the romantic parts. Then again, he didn't think he really would want her to react that way. Definitely wouldn't feel like who she is. To his surprise, John found himself enjoying it too. Maybe his old meds were doing their job better than he thought. When it finally ended, Lizzie gave a small smile that he thought represented authentic satisfaction, and she immediately turned to him. We should watch something together again. But I think I'd rather make our own movie. What? His mind immediately flashed to making something together, and he had to force the thought away. Ew. What kind of movie? I would just like to film you. Here, working, or eating, or anything. I'd watch it later. Really? Wouldn't that be boring? No, watching you can never be boring. This is such a good idea. I'll buy one of those video recorders and... Not to cut you off, but wouldn't that be incriminating evidence? Huh? Fuck, what is he saying? Well, too late to go back now. I mean, it's not legal to hold someone like this, and your basement looks kind of suspicious. You wouldn't want someone to find it later. Aww, you care! Lizzie embraced him cheerfully, and despite himself, John felt a flicker of joy. When she was happy, she seemed so purely happy. You're right, of course, and I'm so glad you're thinking about keeping me safe. Even if I want to be the other way around. John is so kind. Maybe later we can make our own movies, okay? Okay? Yeah, maybe. Why the hell had he just done that? Having a tip for behavior would be the perfect way to get the police to take him to safety if he managed to escape. But as soon as he had the thought, John regretted it. He didn't want to see Lizzie hurt or hated the idea of her going to prison, despite what she was doing to him. Despite the situation, he still thought of her as a sweet girl, who isn't entirely well. She deserved help, not punishment. Was this Stockholm Syndrome? Yes, it is. Was she wearing him down? Just like she'd planned to? Yes, she is. The idea disturbed him, but it didn't change how he felt. He needed to find another way. On Wednesday, Lizzie wanted to watch another movie, but John suggested that might be too many. Instead, they passed the day quietly, working and chatting and ignoring the fact that he was chained to the table. He was feeling better, and thought he could without Paxatine. Oh my god, words! He was feeling better than he thought he could without Paxatine, so his mind shifted to what he could do to improve his situation. Chatting with Lizzie was pleasant, but it wouldn't resolve their problem. So what should he say? Try to leverage the last few friendly days into her letting him go? Just try to make her relax more? Convince her that he wouldn't leave her? I've been making her gifts! So Lizzie. Let's talk about what? This is actually a really hard decision. Let's roll a d4. Here we go, ladies and gents, and the theys and the thems, and the Bryants and the Grants. Let's go! I'm gonna talk about morality. Hey, can I ask you a random hypothetical question? Ask anything you want. Say a train is running down a track and it will kill 5 people. You could pull a lever and switch the train to another track where it would only hit 1 person. Do you pull it? Who are the people on the tracks? Huh? It's not supposed to matter. It's just hypothetical. Random people, no one you know. I don't pull the lever. I would leave. Dot. He had a feeling he knew she was going to say that, but... Say I'm on the first track and the train is heading toward me. Pull the lever. The train would hit 5 other people instead. Would you pull it? Yes. What if it was 10 people? Number doesn't matter to me, John. I would kill 100 people, 1,000. And then I would go find the people who put you on the track and kill her. I like how it was her. It's not him, it's her. And the train conductor. And everyone on the train who didn't help. If my only choice is to switch the train to come hit me, I would do it. I would do anything. Lizzie, I don't want you to kill yourself for me. Aw, you're so sweet. But no, you have to survive. I want us both to be together forever. But if I can give my life to save yours, it would be worth it. Dots. How could you answer the question if a teacher asked it? One already did last year. Originally, to be flustered said I couldn't pull the switch. So you do understand how most people view this. I'm aware of how they think, but I don't understand it. What they think doesn't really matter to me. But if I say the wrong things, people will interfere with my life. So I've had to learn to say the right things. I did that with you too, John, at first, because I was afraid you wouldn't love the real me. Dots. But you will, eventually, I'm sure of it. That made things a little uncomfortable for the rest of the day, but John hoped that if he ever did somehow get strapped to the train tracks, Lizzie was the one nearby. The next morning, he took his pills with a glass of water, like usual. Lizzie waited until he was done and then gave him a warm smile. I hope it's helping. You seem happier, John. I feel better than I expected. Pretty good, actually. It was actually strange how good he felt. And it was easier not to think about in that moment. Instead, he brought up an issue that he had been thinking about for a while. It reminds me, I've been meaning to ask you. You've run out of Yondequil, right? I haven't taken it for days. I destroyed the rest of it before our date. You destroyed it? Why? It was helpful. It helped me understand that I wasn't myself when I was taking it. We should reconsider taking medication. We can't handle everything ourselves. Sometimes we need help. You don't understand, it's not that simple. And explain it to me. I wasn't myself. It was like someone had imprisoned me and took my place. Imagine if your medication meant that you can never feel sad again. It's constant manic happiness. That does sound horrible. So I made you take it. Say that, it was useful. Having things be different for a while made it easier to see how everything fits together. But I couldn't take it any longer than that. I wanted to be myself again. Dots. Koitek doesn't want to help people, John. You just want to control them. Are you saying that metaphorically? Metaphorically is what I said. Or do you actually know something about them? No. No? Abby was an addict because of them. I never cared about her, but I saw what Koitek's drugs did to her. They didn't change who she was. She was always horrible. The drugs just made her identity obvious. Not like you, John. You're so kind, even though you were taking that drug. But they won't be satisfied with that. Are you seriously saying it? Koitek is some kind of conspiracy? Conspiracy? No, I don't think so. They just want money, and they're willing to cut corners to make it. I don't care what they do to everyone else. But you need to just stop taking that drug. You need to see clearly. Dots. He almost wanted to believe her. Koitek is a huge company. And those weren't exactly known for their ethics. It is plausible that they had been testing some dangerous drugs on Lizzie's mother. It had probably been too dangerous for adults, but had a magnified impact on a developing child. Did Lizzie see that on some level? Or was she just paranoid about the company? Sometimes she seemed so. And you should stop seeing Mrs. Smith. She's trying to steal you away, I'm sure of it. Lizzie, don't be ridiculous. She's 10 years older than me, and the school counselor. I don't trust her. You can't, you shouldn't. Calm down, no one is going to steal me away. She stared at him as if she desperately wanted to believe his words. A moment later, she gave an odd half-shrug. I came in to say I'm going to run some errands today, so I'll have to leave you alone. Okay, John? Yeah, sure. She left the room, and John knew he had a rare opportunity, but found himself sitting and thinking. Was it possible that she was right about the Paxitine? He hadn't taken it in several days. After a few low points, he actually felt much better than usual. Terrible irony of depression medicine is that sometimes a drug can make you feel even worse, not better. maybe the changes he attributed to Paxitine were just changes in his life. There couldn't be anything to conspiracy theories, but he could believe that Koitek would push their drug on anyone with depression, even if it had mixed results. Things like that happen all the time. Abruptly, he resolved that if he made it out of the basement, he would stop taking Paxitine as an experiment. He would stay on his old meds, see if he did better. And if he showed signs of improvement, even Mrs. Smith would be happy to let him take older drugs. Regardless, if now he needed to take stock of his options and take some action while he had an opportunity and energy for it. He felt like he spent too much time thinking to make an escape attempt, but maybe he had accomplished something. You know, we are obviously making something for Lizzie. Oh no! We could only do it twice? Fuck. On Friday, John woke up stretched, yawned, scratched at the shackle on his leg, and got up to brush his teeth. It was only while brushing his teeth and staring at the wall of knives that he realized how normal this bizarre situation had become. 1 week ago, Lizzie had asked him out on a date, and they had gone out like a normal couple. It felt like a lifetime ago. When he heard the basement door open, he didn't even glance up. He knew it would be Lizzie. Oh, he knew it would just be Lizzie again. He just rinsed out his mouth and set his toothbrush aside. Good morning. Can you believe it's been a week already? I was just thinking that, actually. Isn't it wonderful? We've been together every single day. Oh, it's bliss. Dots. You know, we haven't done anything that we wouldn't have done without the kidnapping. But that's the point. She skipped in past him to the wall of knives. As he held her arms behind her back, she examined them eagerly. When we were together at school, part of me was afraid that we're both pretending. Even when we were alone, I wasn't myself. As he chooses one knife from the wall, caressing its edge slowly before taking it up, she turned to him, eyes unnaturally bright. A noble boy wouldn't have done all those ordinary things with me after seeing the truth. You say I'm not normal? And I wouldn't want you to be. She came closer, knife swaying back and forth as her gaze remained fixated on him. She was close now, close enough that she could have kissed him or stabbed him. Or both. Why not have a good time? I want you to learn that you shouldn't be afraid of me. Oh. You know I would never pick up a knife to hurt you, right? Dots. I wanted an answer. Keys. Alright, here we go. 4 is gonna be reroll. God, 2 4s. Why can I not get this luck when we play? And I dropped it. We're going with the keys. Instead of answering the question that might not have a good answer, John leaned forward and kissed Lizzie gently. She gave a surprised gasp, kissed back for a moment, and suddenly pulled back. John, why did you kiss me? Isn't that what you want? Yes, that's exactly what I want. You've been giving me exactly what I want. This isn't right. I've ruined it. I've ruined everything. Lizzie, what are you talking about? I thought you needed to you thought you needed to manipulate me, didn't you? Play with my feelings so I wouldn't hurt you. Oh no, fuck! It's all my fault. I drove you to this. Lizzie rushed out of the room and slammed the door behind her. She returned later that day. She pretended that the kiss had never happened. John did the same, but he couldn't help but feel like something was different. On Saturday, Lizzie announced that she wanted to make a huge meal for both of them on their last day. She asked what he wanted to eat and headed out on a shopping trip. As soon as he was sure she was actually gone, John got up and took a deep breath. He didn't have much time left before his vacation was over. What do you want to do? Oh, I can't be with Lizzie! He went down and tried to find a weak point in the chain. The legs themselves looked tough, but he clawed at the bolts, holding the shackles around his leg and the leg table. Then he realized that he was only going to hurt his fingers. Instead, he tried to see if he could slip his foot out of the shackle. Once he took off his shoes and socks, though, he realized just how difficult it would be. Maybe if he could somehow dislocate something in his foot. But no, that wasn't the kind of thing a normal person could just do. He didn't want to give up, though, so he kept trying. In a surprisingly short amount of time, he heard the door on the floor above open. John scrambled to get his shoes and socks back on and pretended to be doing nothing out of the ordinary when Lizzie returned. Everything was in place, including him slumped down in the chair. He could only hope that he had done enough. He went in silence while Lizzie went about upstairs, putting away what she had bought. Eventually he heard the door open and she skipped down the stairs with a smile. "John, how are you?" "Dots. I want to let you go tomorrow." "Well, you aren't worried I'll tell someone?" "I am. If you told someone, it would hurt me so much. But I can't hold you here forever." "I want to keep you here forever. But I want you to choose to stay with me even more. That would be best." "I see. You're not happy. After all this, you expect my emotions to be simple? Do you hate me?" "Dots. No, I don't think so." "That's good, but I want more than that." "I know, but you're gonna have to wait. You can't risk relationships by forcing it." "I know. Next time, you could choose when to ask me out, okay?" "Okay." The remaining time in the basement passed easily, almost casually. He didn't speak much about what was coming, and especially not about what had happened. They watched 2 more movies, chatted about simple things, finished the last of their vacation homework. On Sunday, Lizzie appeared in silence and unlocked the chain that kept him bound to the table. He stared at her and wished that he could find something to say, but his mouth was too dry to speak. Eventually he left. He thought he might have seen a glimmer of tears in her eyes, but it might have been his imagination. The entire ride back, he tried to think about his experiences, but couldn't even begin to grasp everything that had happened. When John got home, he found the door undamaged. Inside his house didn't look so different, as if it hadn't been abandoned for 9 days. There was only a single message on the answering machine. His father saying that he was going on a company vacation. He hadn't even noticed that John was gone. None of his friends had called. He had been taken out of the world and no one had even noticed. The one person who had cared was Liz. But she wasn't there for him now. And there were still too many emotions to sort through with her. John sat down on the couch and simply felt numb. He fell asleep there. An uncertain amount of time later, he slept and did not dream. In the morning, John felt surprisingly refreshed. He made sure to take his meds that Lizzie had sent with him, since they seemed to have worked well so far. When he went to school, he would have to ask Miss Smith her opinion, and despite the absurdity of it all, they were still going to have to go to school. Lizzie wasn't waiting for him outside of his house, which was probably a good thing, he decided. Going to school in the crisp air would give him time to focus. Not that he reached any profound conclusions, but by the time he reached school, he did at least feel reasonably okay. He didn't spot Lizzie at all. When he opened the locker, he discovered a folded note at the center. "Good morning, John." "Good morning, Lizzie!" He said, "Good morning, John," surrounded by hearts. Despite himself, John smiled a little. When he looked up, he saw Lizzie on a nearby corner. She smiled back before vanishing. He drifted through several classes. Today he wasn't too different from the other students, since they were all back from vacation and unfocused. None of the teachers tried to make them do very much. After school, he headed to Miss Smith's office, not entirely sure what he was going to say. After After so long away, however, he definitely felt like he could use some counseling. John, I hope you had a good vacation. It was okay. You? Not the entire time working, I'm afraid. I actually tried to call you, but it seems you weren't home. Yeah, I was busy, sorry. Oh, that's fine. I just hope you haven't lost any progress. Why don't you lie down and we can get started right away? He got onto the couch, but things didn't go as smoothly as usual. Miss Smith did her best, but he just couldn't concentrate. It didn't take a genius to know the reason. He had already decided exactly what he was going to do. If he wanted protection from the police, this would be his best chance to ask for it secretly. Or even if he skipped the details, Mrs. Smith would be able to provide help of some kind. Or maybe he shouldn't tell her anything. It all worked out for the best, hadn't it? Something on your mind, John? Dots. Fuck. Well, here we go. D4, don't fail me now. Hint that I'm worried. That's weird. Do I want to? The dice would never lie to me. Oh. I'm just worried about Lizzie. She seems a little emotionally unstable. Unstable? How exactly? It's hard to put my finger on it. But what you said about earlier got me thinking, and I'm not sure I feel safe all the time. But you two are still dating, I guess. It probably isn't too serious. If she has a severe condition, she probably wouldn't be able to form normal bonds at all. Smith, do you know something I don't? Just thinking out loud. Apparently Mrs. Smith thought that he was doing better, so she ended their session early and let him go home. On his way out, he spotted Lizzie watching him from the shadows. She smiled at him. Oh, he smiled at her and she smiled back, but that was all. And for now, that was enough. John started walking. School year had gotten away from him a little bit. Despite everything he had been through, John found himself returning to something like a routine. He spent some time with Lizzie. They didn't do anything too intense. Just shorter fun dates, nothing too romantic. The sky still looked very grey to him, but he felt lighter than he had in a long time. On occasion, he still headed to the library to try to look up more about Koitek, see if he could find anything more about Liz's condition. It wasn't going terribly well. All he could go on was old microfilm and random ideas, which was part of why he brought Lizzie, but she seemed uninterested. Eventually he sat back and tapped his finger on the desk, considering if it was worth continuing. Lizzie, when I was at your house, you had some pretty strong statements about Koitek. You know anything about them? No. I'm sorry, John. I can't really help you. Dots. It's just a feeling. A strong feeling. Not as strong as the sense that you were the one I was looking for, but I'm certain they don't want what's best. Sure. But does any corporation? This is different. After that, though, she didn't explain herself any further. If she didn't like the topic of conversation, John decided to let it go. It's not like we can learn anything meaningful about them. I mean, we're just a couple of kids. It's not like their secrets will be printed out in local paper. Well, we can leave it. We have more immediate concerns, don't we? Yes, actually, I have something I wanted to ask you. The county fair is coming up next month. Can we go together? Hell yeah! County fair! County fair! Love the county fair! I always thought it was kind of a cheap event, but maybe it wouldn't be so bad with you. Yay! I look forward to it. We used to always go to the county fair. It was so good. Every year we'd go and we'd see all the pigs. They were my favorite. You go and you see the pigs and you see the cows. And then you walk around and go on one ride that makes you feel nauseous, whether you ate an hour ago, 1 minute ago, or a year ago. I always feel nauseous. It was only later that John remembered something some of his classmates had said earlier. Elementary schoolers went to the fair to play games. Middle schoolers went for the roller coasters. High schoolers went to get laid. Now what Lizzie had been meaning to imply had been signing up for more than he had realized. But for the next several days, she didn't act any differently, and just seemed to look forward to it with an innocent anticipation. So it felt awkward to bring it up. And the longer he didn't mention it, the stranger it got. And so, day by day, they eventually reached the date of the county fair. Fuck, I love county fairs. Lizzie met him on the edge of the fair, shifting from one foot to another. What the fuck is this? Her face lit up as she saw him and immediately hurried to meet him. Oh, you're finally here. This is going to be so much fun. I'm glad to spend time with you, but honestly, I haven't gone to the fair in a few years. Oh, sure, it'll be fun. Besides, the important thing is that people will see us together. What? Dating doesn't really count unless the guy's willing to go to the fair with you. Guys don't talk like that? I have never heard that before in my life. No, but I'm happy to be seen with you. Yay! Let's go see what all they got. I really hope they have the pigs. For a while, they just wandered, checking out all the attractions. Since the fair was still getting started up, it was easy to grab some food and cotton candy, which Lizzie happily fed him pieces while they walked. Thinking about what being there together meant for her, John realized that he didn't mind. After everything they had been through, boyfriend and girlfriend felt like cheap words. He felt like the hardest stretch had to be behind them. He'd seen Lizzie at her worst. He would be happy to be with her at her best. Oh, is that a knife throwing booth? Dots. But we don't have to visit. Come on, let's go this way. Instead, Lizzie directed him toward the high striker booth. John kind of marveled at it. He'd seen them in pictures, but he hadn't been sure if they actually existed anymore. Classmates he barely recognized were trying their luck at that moment, swinging the hammer high overhead and bringing it down on the target as hard as they could. None of them got the slider more than halfway to the bell. Hee, John tried. Man, is there even a point? I'm gonna suck. Ooh, but try. Giving in, he inserted his coin. His lifting of the hammer felt almost too heavy for him, but Liz was watching, so he couldn't give up. John brought the hammer down as best he could. It felt like a strong blow, but the strider barely moved up a quarter of the distance. Some of the watching classmates laughed. See, I'm pathetic. No, you just haven't learned to use your strength. Here, let me help you. She slid up behind him, wrapping her arms around his and changing his grip on the hammer. With their bodies so close to his, the watching classmates stopped laughing. See, you need to throw your body into it. So set your foot like this, shift your hips a little. He felt like a doll, being moved by her like that. But she put him in did feel better. More of his body was being put behind the swing now. Good, good. Now try again. She backed away and John took a deep breath. If he sucked again, he was going to feel absolutely worthless. But no, he couldn't let himself think like that. Instead, he brought the hammer down as hard as he could. To his surprise, it actually made it most of the way up. It didn't ring the bell, but it was better than he'd seen anyone else do. See, good job. She seemed absolutely elated. Even just with his mildly improved performance. Despite himself, John found that his mood had improved. They walked away together, ignoring the watches entirely. I'm surprised you know so much about this kind of thing. Oh, hammers are interesting. which is very, very messy. I should have known better than to ask. There was a moment of hesitation in her eyes, but she saw his smile and then returned it. Oh. At another booth, Lizzie managed to toss every single ring onto the furthest pin. That won her a giant stuffed teddy bear, which she just laughed at and gave to him to hold. For a while, he was having a great time. But then, still carrying the bear, he heard an unpleasant snicker. Are you fucking serious? You two came here to play around with stuffed animals? One of his classmates was there with his girlfriend, pawing at her chest while she giggled and swatted at his hands. They both leered at John and Lizzie holding hands. I mean, what are you, 12? Once, their taunts may have bothered him, but now John didn't care. He didn't even have the desire to prove that his friends were wrong. When he thought about everything that he had been through with Lizzie, felt her squeeze his hand, he just didn't care. Come on, let's ditch these losers. His classmate's girlfriend led them away, and John didn't really care about that either. And he gave Lizzie a smile, though she seemed a little irked. You just ignore them, you know. Oh, I like that one. Yes, but that wouldn't be satisfying. Come on, this way. She dragged him into a narrow alleyway between two stalls. A little ways down, there was a closed-off space in between several of the temporary stalls. Surrounded on three sides, the sounds of the fares seemed softer. He became very aware of how alone they were when Lizzie slid off her jacket. Ugh! I want to do something not childish at all. I hate my life! Yes, I think I do. I know I could be a difficult girlfriend at times, but I want to show you that I can be nice too. I totally skipped that. He leaned back against the wall, taking a moment to catch his breath. Lizzie seemed to have no trouble, fingering her shirt and then raising to give him a hug. Ugh, good. I liked it too. Maybe we can do more of this sometime. Cold air forced him to step away from her soon and zip. As soon as they headed back out of the alleyway, John felt that someone must have noticed, but no one even looked at them. Actually, things outside seemed different. He finally gazed at Lizzie, who paused for a moment then nodded. Is something wrong? Sounds in the distance aren't normal. There's too much tension. As soon as she said it, he realized that she was right. It didn't sound like people were talking and having fun. They were upset about something. Without needing to discuss it, they headed toward the source of the commotion. Soon they arrived at the densely packed group of people clustering around a line of police tape. What? You could see a few cops moving within it and spinning lights in the entire scene. Strange colors, but he couldn't tell what was happening. Lizzie shook her head, muttering something to herself. Not sure how to help her. John found a familiar face in the crowd and tapped her shoulder. Hey, what's going on? God, it's horrible. Someone from our school was killed. What, who? His face was taken off entirely. Still trying to identify him. Oh shit, I know who did it. They said it, I can't believe this, but they said it was some girl from our school. She stabbed 2 police officers, like, with a knife. They had to be rushed to the hospital. Whoa, what about her? They shot her, seriously. What? Well, this is what I heard. I just got here in time to see the body before they covered it up, but I didn't see the violent parts. I see. He wanted back away from the case, but Lizzie tugged on his arm. John heard a quick goodbye and let her drag him away from the crowd. John? Lizzie, do you know something about this? You know it wasn't me, right? You trust me, don't you? I'm not worried about that. You were with me the entire time. But do you know something? There was another girl, not like me, but similar. In our school already? Her mother knew Abby. Yeah, he had out of a Koi Tech program together. For the same reason, being pregnant? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I never liked her. I never really spoke. But I think she could have been capable of this. Why can't I just have a girlfriend? All I want for Christmas is a girlfriend. And this is not helping me achieve that. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Then what do we do? I think we should go. Stay away from this. Good idea. I'm not arguing with you there. She went with him to his door and he kissed her goodnight. They both knew things haven't been entirely settled. Not yet. I tried to watch the news, but it was all meaningless speculation about what could have caused the girl to murder her boyfriend so brutally. He had to turn it off after only a few minutes. Though there were still more questions, when he went to bed, he found they slipped away from him. Said he thought about Lizzie's happy face on their date, and he fell asleep smiling. The next morning, John woke up feeling the best he had felt in a long time. He had to remind himself that most of the people would be mourning over the two murders the night before. School had the flag at half-mast. Oh, with the mast? Fuck, I thought it was a mask. Half-masked. Oh my god. So it's half-mast, everybody. The school, and classes was cancelled so they can have a special assembly about the incident. It meant basically nothing to him, and to most of the other students as well. It seemed to have shaken everyone else up to the core, but John felt good. Maybe that meant something was wrong with him, but he didn't really care. He felt he and Lizzie were even closer than before. When she arrived, she had a strange look on her face. John, something's wrong. Someone wants to take you away from me. Lizzie, are you feeling well? Please, we need to run away together, or we won't have another chance. It seemed like she had become more unstable, and what she was saying must have been a paranoia, yet she seemed strangely intense about the whole thing. Just run away? Did that even work? I made plans. We could do it, I'm sure. As serious as she sounded, perhaps it was necessary for her to stay stable. But doing something that wild out of nowhere? After everything that had happened to them, could he? Would that just make her even worse? Oh, I should have saved. Fuck, I should have saved. Looks like we're running away. Where'd we go? Wouldn't that attract attention? No, I'm prepared. We can say the murder case made us want to transfer. We go away and live safe from all this. If you say so, then I trust you. Then we need to get away from here, far, far away. The very day, Lizzie arranged everything, pulled him out of school, and apparently faked the permission slips. She seemed earnest, madly jealous, as if a woman would sweep in at any moment, take him away. Wouldn't it be swooping? John went along with her in a daze, shocked at how fast it happened. Lizzie told him to say the murder had shaken him up too much. Wouldn't let him see anyone, even Mrs. Smith. The students were also shell-shocked, so it didn't raise too much attention. When they left town, in the car with supplies that Lizzie had prepared, John almost felt as if someone was following them. Was Lizzie's paranoia just rubbing off on him? He told himself it had to be that, because eventually the feeling vanished. They moved away, finished school, found new lives. For years afterward, John wondered about that moment. Had he made the right choice to support Lizzie? Or had he just encouraged unnecessary paranoia? maybe it didn't matter at all. It's somehow he couldn't make himself believe that. Perhaps in another life, things could have gone differently. Occasionally, he wondered why Lizzie seemed so nervous about the entire thing. When he asked, she just told him that it didn't matter anymore, they were safe. Aww. As the years passed, she began to calm down. She still had days where she needed him to hold her tight. He had days when he needed her support. Despite all that, they were a normal couple. After they were married, Lizzie softened again. His co-workers told him he was lucky to have such a beautiful, devoted wife, and he was. He just had to pretend that he was the one with the enormous collection of knives. Yay! There's another path. Oh, fuck! Oh my god! Hi! Oh, that scared me. Okay. I think I want to try to get the other paths of this game. Typically, I just want to, like, one and done it, but I really like this game. So I think I'm gonna keep going. But in another episode. So this is ending 1. It was the ending of happiness. So thank you everybody very much for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you later.